All right, everybody, we're back in the shop. It's the first week in June 2023. Getting caught up on some of the projects we've got going on. Fresh back from its win in Lime Rock in Connecticut. Whoop, there's my alarm. We're doing fluids, and CJ found a dirty filter for the diff. So we have to figure out what's going on in there. He's already got her loose. If you guys hadn't seen how a diff comes out of a Viper, CJ just gonna hoss it out of there. Go, boy.
I've done this a couple times.
Yeah, we've been in and out of those a few times. So we had actually planned to build another complete differential unit for the car because it leaves here to go to Indy next week, and Eddie's going to be there in Indy with it, and I think possibly Drew.
Definitely.
Drew's going? Cool. So Drew will be in Indy with Eddie. I've got my kids next weekend, so I won't be there. But Drew and Eddie, possibly Dylan. I don't know, is Dylan going too?
No, he's not.
Oh, so it's just you and Drew?
It's just me and Drew, yeah.
Nice. The week after that, we will be at Mid-Ohio. 2 weeks after that, we will be at Road America in Wisconsin. Now, for a trip like that, we have to prepare the car and the trailer for everything to be serviced on the road. So after the first race, Eddie will get oil changed up, possibly a gear change. We're looking at a gear change for Mid-Ohio. So,
dang it.
that was news to Eddie. Me and Lee have been talking, you know, crew chief driver relationship stuff, working on some of the engineering side of the racing stuff, which I use the engineering term very loosely. I am wannabe engineer, let's say that. We do some critical thinking and calculations, but I am in no way an educated engineer. However, let's walk you guys around some of the stuff we got going on in the rest of the shop, show you some things, catch you up. All right, well, while you are here on the channel, please give us a subscribe if you aren't already. And if you want some KSR merch, winwithksr.com. And you can get all of our hats. Oh, not sunglasses. KSR hats, KSR shirts. We got stickers, posters. I think we even have some beanies because it won't be too much longer. And it's going to be getting cool again. We're already halfway through the year. Yeah, I don't even know how we've gotten at this point, but. All right, so over here on Grant's Corvette, Eddie is wrapped up, almost wrapped up, power steering reservoir. And yeah, that might look kind of funny and not stock because none of this is stock. So this is an alternator off of some kind of Volkswagen because it worked out so that we could work the spacing to mount it right here. And with a custom alternator pulley that my buddy Peyton is making us, you know, performance-driven design. You guys may remember him from the laser scanning video of my engine. He's gonna work us up a custom alternator pulley, and then we will have our belt situation taken care of. But because none of this is stock, Grant and Chuck are all about trying to keep this thing as light as we can possibly be, which this power steering bracket mount and everything I think is kind of trick. Like you can kind of see it's a shim behind the pump. This bolt goes all the way through to the cylinder head. This bolt goes through to the bracket, and then the bracket wraps around, and then that is also where the reservoir mounts for the power steering. So we're going to have this, once we get the front end of the car on, we'll figure out where we can cut this and have as large a capacity tank here, because more fluid takes longer to heat up. That's kind of our idea with that. And we have to plumb from the pump down to the rack, out to the cooler, back to the reservoir. And if you'll notice, we offset this return off to the side, and the idea is that it's going to swirl, and then that swirl will be the same direction that will promote the flow to go right into the feed down to the pump. that was kind of our idea. We'll see how it works out in practice. But there's also a Y pipe down there that Eddie has fabricated, all stainless steel. And I'll get it up in the air and show you that in just a second. All right, well, let's run this up in the air and show you the trick exhaust. Eddie's been hard on the HTP TIG welder that we've got here in the shop, or at least one of the two. And just as a reminder, if you guys didn't know, those of you that are welders or want to be a welder, you can go to usaweld.com, and when you go to buy something, use the Win with KSR code, and that'll save you 5%. And I will admit to you that we use our own code when we buy stuff for the shop here, like our tungstens, our filler rods, any replacement parts for the TIG torches, you know, the cups and the gas lenses that we used for the TIG torches. But yeah, check out Eddie's handiwork on the hill. Pretty nice little TIG welding there. And you can see we've, not only is this heat protected here, but I believe there is a thought to possibly have a pan across here. So we have designed this exhaust so that it is above if the guys were ever to put a flat panel across the whole bottom of the car. Some aero stuff that's way above my pay grade, but Grant's on top of it. And the exhaust may look a little funny here because what we have done is made them equal lengths. So the front parts of the Y here are equal length from the V-band on each side into the Y. So this is a vibrant slip collector here, and that'll give us just a little bit of room for these to wiggle around. And whenever there's, you know, some give in the exhaust, yeah, it'll have a small leak there, but that's no problem. It's a race car. And the O2 sensors are way upstream, but that give there will give us room for stuff to not crack. And here, guys over there making racket on the Viper, getting work done. So from here back will be 3-inch, and then there will be a muffler up over the rear end. Back up in here somewhere for a single center exit, and we're going to do some kind of wide tip. And we've got some drawings for a diffuser that's going to come up, and the exhaust will be right above the diffuser or something. We'll do whatever Grant wants us to do on the exhaust there. But yeah, this thing's starting to look like something. We've got a closeout panel to make to cover off the top of the frames where we cut all that out. Probably do a piece of carbon fiber there. I believe there is a transmission cooler that we're going to have to do. That's the return for it there. Remember we were talking about it earlier. Yep, because there's an outlet there. RPM transmission. That's who did the transmission for Grant. But chipping away at this old thing. And here we've got our pedal box mounted. The master cylinders are on the way. Got the all the fluid reservoirs for the master cylinders all situated right there. The shifter has been installed, which that was a little bit of a process because factory form this is a rubber boot. Well, with our make small adjustments in the whole car to make the whole car perform way better than just it would normally, the engine and the driveline, like including the rear end, has actually been moved back and slightly over to the passenger side of the car to try and like get the weight balance exactly what we're kind of looking for, or what Grant and Chuck are looking for on this thing, which is also why all of that stuff is mounted over there. You know, the dry sump, the fire bottle, the battery, the cooling apparatus, driver cooling apparatus goes down in there, as well as the ABS unit, The ECU is over there, which it is up front because it made more sense to put it up there and be able to shorten the harness than it did to put it all over where, put the ECU back here and then have the long harness, and just, we thought that made better sense to do that. So, Eddie snatched the Racetech seat out of it, and this kind of seat, like Racetech seats are just some of my favorite seats to have in any kind of car. So the Viper has a Racetech, Lee's other Viper has a Racetech. I have driven the red Viper at a charity event down at Sebring, and the way the seat just wraps you up, it just feels comfortable, as well as you buckle yourself in tight like you're supposed to be, and you become almost like a part of the car. And in doing that, you feel what the car is doing. And in the event that you have a very abrupt stop, let's say, you know, from hitting something that's stationary, the way the seat wraps you up with shoulder braces, as well as, you know, the head restraint, it's all a good thing. And if you guys remember, I also had a Racetech seat in the Lexus when I crashed it. Kept me from, you know, injuring myself worse than I did. Didn't really get hurt much at all, honestly. Kind of got more of my chest was a little sore from the shoulder belts, but that same night I won the Danger Ranger race. So obviously I wasn't hurt too bad. We've gotten the 4th gen Camaro wrapped up to the point that the owners are going to come get it. So they decided that they were gonna put this car behind another car that they want to bring us. So for us to finish that car, and then we will get this one back possibly in 6 months to a year. And what they're gonna do is, the owner of this car has a paint and body shop. So all of that floor work and tin work that we did under the floor, the firewall, all the tubes in the front, all of the roll cage, they're gonna get all that painted. And like I said, possibly bring it back to us after that. All right, so the guys are working on the Viper. Got the diff out. Do we see anything that was, okay, oh.
That's not what you want on a billet cat.
They're both like that.
What in the heck?
I don't know, we just pulled the stub axles off.
Well, that looks like where it came from, though.
Yeah.
That's random. I guess we need to look at the shims and see if they're close enough to, like, catch something else. I don't know, we got some diagnostic work to do. But that is a 333 gear ratio. I'm going to build a 321 and a 355, hopefully by next week, to have in the trailer for the big trip. So, like I said earlier, for the big trip, we are going to be sending all of the different setups that the car is going to need. And if you look, these are what we call the camber slugs, and this is what we change. They're lettered with different offsets for the holes, so we can actually get the car set up with all of the different setups, write all that information down. Whoever's at the track with the car first, or at a shop before, I guess I failed to mention, the car's not coming back to the shop for 2 months. So it's gonna leave the shop, and we have a friend in Detroit who races with us, and the whole entire rig will leave Indy, go to Detroit, Detroit to Mid-Ohio, back to Detroit, and then up to Road America, and then back home. So we've got to load the trailer up with all the fluids we need, all the brake pads, all the rotors, and all of the different setups that we are going to be using for the 3 different tracks. So that's what all is going on with the Viper. There's one other hot rod to show you guys back here, which kind of was in a previous video. This is a 48 Oldsmobile that has a small block Chevrolet under the hood, and so this is a friend from the local hot rod club, and he headed across the street. There's a regular alignment shop over across the street from KSR here. It's actually called The Alignment Guy. Does really good alignments on street cars, and the car was over there. He noticed that there was quite a few bushings that were shot out in the car. So, brought it over here. We rebuilt all the bushings in the front, which actually this has a 73 Nova front subframe grafted onto the front of it. The rear, we think might have been original to 1948. Some of the bolts and getting them loose and the bushings, it took a little work to source all the bushings, as well as we had to change some of the bolts because they weren't available anymore. But we got all that taken care of. All new fresh bushings in the back. We adjusted the brakes, bled the brakes, fixed a couple of transmission leaks, had a power steering leak, and I believe this car may be going on Hot Rod Power Tour, which I think is next week, or a week and a half. So I know this car has done a couple of them, at least I thought it had. Mike's got another couple of cars that, you know, he's a older gentleman that has a couple of cool old muscle cars, so yeah, that's that. All right, so the video I'm working on next after this one, which to be honest, I started on it this morning, realized how big of an edit it was going to be, and so I decided that we were due for a shop update. So now I filmed this, but the next video that will be coming out is about the Danger Ranger on dirt up at Bristol. And I know I've been behind on videos, but I am slowly getting caught up. Appreciate everybody watching and subscribing, following along, and checking up on all of us here at the shop to make sure everything's all good, but it is. And I've got to load up Ryan's car, which if you guys didn't see the video about Ryan's FRS, that is for sale. And if you want a properly sorted, set up drift car that's really awesome, at least I think it's really awesome, hit us up, sales@winwithksr.com, and we can put you in contact with Ryan. And it's the whole rig. It's the trailer and the car, which I don't think I super clarified too much in the last video, but all the spares that go with the car in the trailer, 14 spare wheels I think I counted. He's got a pop-up tent in there, floor jacks, the trailer itself. I mean, it's a pretty good deal. Alright, this car is just too much fun. Like, I just took it out and drove it around for 10 minutes and then called the guys and told them I was going to do something silly when I came back. But it's just too good. It's just too good. Somebody buy it, because I don't need it. Yeah. And really, a lot of you guys wanted me to buy it, but I got to put money into my Oldsmobile. I've got to get my Cutlass going, and this, I have too many cars as it is. So I've got cars that you guys haven't even seen yet that I plan to put on the channel soon. I just got to go get them dug out of a trailer over at another shop. It's only one that I think you guys haven't seen, but a couple of the other ones haven't been on the channel much, but we're gonna fix that in the next couple of weeks and actually take them out and use them on a road course. So stay tuned for that. All right, well, now that I went and got sweaty driving the car around, it's worth it. I promise, for anybody that's interested in buying this thing. Like, really complete rig. So I'm actually gonna haul this back over to Ryan's house. That way we free up some room around here at the shop, and then we will be loading up the Viper trailer. So some of you guys also spied what that is. That little thing right there. And you were right. But we'll have to give it a little wait before we actually put that in a video, because I want to do some work on it. But right now, I've got to get back inside and get to work on Spencer's car so that I can have you guys a video ready for that, hopefully in a few more days, and actually show some decent progress on it. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, following along. Like I said, if you need some merch, winwithksr.com, and we'll see you guys in the next one.